down the country. They want to be on the conservative side, and then when we get firmed up projects, firmed up estimates, they'll do that. What we actually need and are going to borrow. But we always, historically, have been conservative in that number. That doesn't mean we're going to borrow the whole $6 million, but that reserves the ability that we could pull that out.
Could we, for one of the July meetings, get a list of the projects and the related cost estimate? I know we've covered them in summary fashion, but I think that'd be helpful. Again, we're not asking for a commitment tonight on doing the projects, but there's that potential. We can't tell you offhand how much would be principal forgiveness or what the applicable rate would be. We should at least get that sort of summary listing, but for tonight, it would still be appropriate to act on the resolution in front of you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, looking for a motion to agree to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Darrell. Second by. Thank you, Doug. Any council discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Amanda. God, less Val. I'm sorry.
Mark Bittner.
Aye.
Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Doug Brandt.
Aye.
Tim Petrie.
Aye.
Bonnie Shinalonis. Aye. Scott Steckmesser.
Aye.
Adam Husky.
Aye.
Darrell Leclerc. Aye.
Okay. To see waiver of noise ordinance and beer garden extension for Whiskey Reeves on July 5th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
Okay, I understand from our clerk and our police chief that the CDs is looking at this as a temporary extension. It would fall under actually what's considered a special events beer garden license, which our code allows for up to 2 per year, up to 3 days duration for each. They're just asking for 1 day. This is on the same date as the Wooden Boat Show or the boat show that's planned for Paddler's Park right next door. They are simply looking to expand their outdoor area. They'll be having a band outside. This is on July 5th. The chief has done a site visit, finds no problems, recommends approval.
Okay. Then we're looking for a motion to approve the waiver of noise ordinance and beer garden extension.
And he did ask to note that the waiver of the noise ordinance would also waive the provisions pertaining to vibration. We got to revisit this. We typically have had that very long motion that we have the council do that takes into account both waiving the noise and vibration standards. You might want for the record to include that.
Okay. So looking for a
I'll
motion.
make the motion to waiver, or I mean approve waiver of the roof ordinance extension.
And to include the vibration or the, and to include the vibration part.
Oh, okay, back to vibration, please.
Okay, Tim? Thank you. Any council discussion? This will be a voice vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you all. On to D, extension of facade grant timelines for 1606 Washington Street.
Yeah, this is the Richard and Julian boat property. This was the subject of an application that was originally approved by the city council last summer. Originally provided for completion optimistically by November 1st of 2024. Council late last year extended that deadline out to completion by June 30, 2025. I can tell you who has been working hard with contractors. I think, Darla, your service on the Main Street Design Committee, you touched on this at different times. Yeah, it's a year later. They were presenting some contractor quotes a year ago for just under $25,000. We have a letter of agreement that says they'll spend at least 20. They have now approved a contract with Jim Reef Builders that's just over $59,000 for the work on their building. So while sometimes you hear criticisms of people taking a while to get these facade projects done, sometimes it's because it's just like any home project. or too many home projects we've all gotten into, it gets more and more expensive. And, you know, I will point out that, probably one of the most outstanding facade projects downtown was done by these same folks with the Whitewood Real Estate Building, which is beautifully done.
Great restoration.
So, with that, I would recommend council authorize the extensions as indicated, for project completion by November 30th this year, and then for providing the financial documentation by December 31. If I could, just for information, I stopped and visited with Tim Klein over at the book today. His completion deadline is June 30. I told him he's clearly put a concerted effort in over the last month. He's within a week, he's saying, of completion. I don't see that as an issue. If any council member wants me to bring a formal amendment back, I will, but I feel he's met the intent of that project. Obviously, he still got his financial documentation to present, but that is largely on schedule. And I know he's worked on some business for several weekends just recently. To wrap that up, there's one other out there, Violet Inn. I did visit with Violet Inn last week. They're probably within a week of getting their occupancy permit, firm time frame on opening, but oh my goodness, they're coming along well, but they too are likely going to need an extension on their facade grant, because the facade painting, the windows, the parts that Hammond Construction had in the quote are done, but the final facade painting and murals that are part of it are going to take a little bit longer. So I will be back requesting an extension on that one. But what we have up tonight, because of the deadline of June 30 for project completion and July 31st for documentation, I did indicate to Kubas that I would come forward with this request. And again, what is right now a $10,000 facade grant commitment from the city and Main Street, while it helps, it is on the order of about 1/6 of the total project they're looking going forward with. And by the way, they also are going to be doing some pretty expensive work replacing the roof on the building. Doesn't count as facade, because you only see it if you're flying over, but they're investing significantly in that building.
So pretty exciting on it.
They are, it would be the, not gonna remember the right name, it's a Louisiana Pacific product. It looks like wooden lap siding. No, it's the same product that Tim Klein has put on the, it'll come to me about 5 minutes after the meeting. Yeah, there's a term for it. They have it in ours. I know I bought it, used it in the house. Product name. So feel free to discuss it and I'll find what it's going.
I'll make a motion to extend the project completion deadline to November 30th, 2025, and the financial documentation deadline to December 31st.
Thank you, Adam. Do I have a second? Thank you, Bill. Any council discussion?
Smart siding for Louisiana Pacific. My brain kicked in before the phone, which is kind of confusing.
Smart one, smart man.
Yes,
It's smart side.
quick and smart.
No discussion, we'll do a roll call now.
Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Doug Brandt.
Aye.
Tim Petrie. Bonnie Schimmel-Loomis.
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister.
Aye.
Adam Wohuski.
Aye.
Darrell Leclerc.
Aye.
Mark Bittner.
Aye.
But if I could too, just for information, I did review the documentation from Popstart Restaurant Group and Popstart Pizza last week that was submitted for their TIF grant, TID number 8 grant. And they had to show at least $100,000 investment on top of their acquisition of real estate. It wasn't every single invoice for what they've done, but the documentation submitted was for more than $130,000. They have completed those improvements timely. And while they aren't open for regular hours, they've had 2 amazing pop-up openings. So we simply indicated business open by June 30, which I believe that would qualify for. There is one thing we're waiting on there, and that is we required a lien waiver from the general contractor. And per the bank, there's one relatively small payment $5,000 or so to the general contractor. And once that is made this week, they'll be issuing release of liens or waiver for all work. So again, I use some discretion there, and I said, well, you've got to show documentation, we won't cut a check until the lien waiver is delivered, but that's being handled through the bank. I didn't see any problem with that either. And then I saw the Facebook post with their second pop-up opening in about 6 hours, they sold 260 pieces. Seems to be indicative of some business opportunity for their pizza and church.
Very good.
But for the record, we have a number of places where you can get coffee, so just.
Okay, closed session. The city council reserves the right to enter into closed session per Wisconsin statutes 19.81E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified business, public business, whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Tonight, consider a term for possible property purchase. We also have, per Wisconsin statutes 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or likely to become involved. And I also have discussed matters pertaining to TIFA's class action lawsuit. So we're looking for a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Thank you. Bonnie will second it. Any council discussion? Seeing none, we'll call vote now.
Doug Grant. Tim Petrie. Bonnie Schimmel-Loomis. Scott Steckmanster.
Aye.
Adam Mahusky.
Aye.
Darrell Leclerc. Mark Bittner. Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Thank you. So thank you for being here tonight.
Sure, so not from the walking.
Good.
Not gonna cry.